Global markets continue to sell off with the crypto market joining the party and XRP almost going under $1 overnight. What is happening in the markets? Plus, the GOP is getting a new, renewed sense of urgency. How could that affect crypto and XRP as well? And XRP is going global. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. It's Freaky Friday, and you know what that means. Please read the disclaimer that it's time to go bananas. Right? Right now, like I said, XRP is sitting at $1.03, and XRP did go to its lowest point that it has been in the past, year and a half, right? If we go and let's just remove all the stuff, you can see that last time XRP was at this $1 range was at November 17th, 2024. So I wasn't even 37 back then, No, wait a second. Yeah, I was before, I wasn't even 37 back then. So it's been a long time since we were at these levels. It bounced back a little bit, right? So you saw there, actually Bitcoin also dropped, but it recovered all of its sell-off, kind of a V-shape, mid V-shape recovery here. And it's because the Asian markets are just getting destroyed. Over 1 trillion wiped out in the Asian markets. In just a few hours, Asian stocks crashing after Apple's price hikes to offset surging chip costs reignited concerns over elevated AI and tech valuations. South Korea co-SPI down 8%. Japan's Nikkei down 4.5%, and the Chinese SSE down 2.15%, and Taiwan down 3%. So, of course, that had an effect on what's happening. Of course, remember, crypto, XRP, it's not just the United States of America. I know that most of our viewership here on the channel is from the US and Canada, Australia, UK, because, well, the videos are in English. But the crypto market is traded all around the world. And we've seen many times that the Asian markets sometimes have more effect than even the US markets. Although yesterday we saw that crypto started selling off exactly as the stock market opened up. ETFs were being dumped. And that's, why we saw that massive sell-off in XRP, almost testing the $1 level here, right? And now when the Asian market started selling off, the East Asian markets, then we saw XRP test again $1, but $1 is holding strong. You know what I don't have? I don't know why. Why don't I have? I do have. Bobby, why do you say you don't have? I have a $1 support level there. It's even in a special greenish color. If you're not colorblind, right? You can see that green. My kids would probably see it as brown because they're colorblind. But it is very interesting to see what is going to happen today with XRP and with the rest of the crypto market. What happens? Because we're seeing even overnight trading on the stock market is not going great on the US stock market, but things might open up and things might flip and Trump might say something and things might change. Now, again, there's always the opportunity to go long, to go short, however your heart desires. We do have that amazing $200 position voucher once you download the app on Ubit, and there's only the first 100 users only. So about 20 of you have already signed up. There's 80 spots left. So don't miss out on it. You get the $200 position voucher just for signing up. So again, link is in the description down below, and you can get up to 50,000 USDT in rewards. You might want to go long now. You might want to go short. So this is up to you again. And if you're on BTCC or you sign up now to BTCC, you can be part of the 3,500 XRP giveaway. Right now, it's around $3,500 value, but who knows how much it could potentially be. So if you want to be part of that competition, link is also in the description down below. Again, these are affiliate links, so I will get a commission. Eleanor is telling us that there is a renewed sense of urgency among GOP lawmakers to get the Clarity Act passed. She says it's driven by heightened political pressure following the fallout from the housing bill, as well as the realization that time is running short. When senators return from recess on July 13th, they'll have just 20 working days, roughly 4 weeks, to get the legislation through the Senate and back to the House before the August recess. They depart Washington today with a handful of key issues still unresolved, including ethics. But that's not phasing some industry leaders who say the pressure and time constraints could ultimately create conditions needed to strike a deal. This could be a blessing in disguise, according to Eleanor and other industry leaders. Because the time is short, they might not be dilly-dallying, and they might be working on finding a solution on ethics, which seems to be the stopgap right now. And then, of course, we need to get the votes, and that whole process could be a day or two. The whole thing here is to get it past the Senate, right? And then after that, it's probably going to be smooth sailing. But again, there's always can be some bumps in the road as to pass the House too, and then of course get to the president's desk. And the president said, President Trump, that he wouldn't sign it until the other act, the Make America Great Again or something like that, I think it's called, act, needs to get passed first. So again, that could be another thing. And so when we're looking right now at the crypto market, there are some good things, there are some bad things. Price action right now, again, it seems like it's the bottom, but who knows? Now, there's always going to be opportunities in the market, and there's always going to be possibilities in the market. Now I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, Foris X. Keep your holdings working with Foris X liquidity pools. So if you're interested in a way to get your crypto moving, your XRP moving, this is another possibility. So many XRP holders know XRP itself doesn't offer native staking. So I'm always interested in new ways and new solutions to try to get my XRP working. Foris X is one of those projects I've been looking at recently. What stood out to me was their focus on transparency, security. You can see here transparency. You can see the whole team, right? Who they are. Many companies you don't know, regulatory filings and public disclosure. And of course, they have been audited by CertiK and Cyberscope. You can see here featured in leading crypto media. So if you are interested, again, you can see the liquidity pools here, and you can see how much you could potentially earn on each of the assets, available pools, USDT liquidity pool, XRP liquidity pool. So if you are interested in another way to diversify your crypto portfolio, link is in the description down below. As always do your own due diligence and figure out if Foris X is good for you. Grayscale says Clarity Act could end crypto winter. Grayscale says the Clarity Act as the biggest catalyst for ending crypto winter. He remains structurally bullish on Ethereum as a leader in tokenization, but calls AI crypto biggest asymmetric opportunity Grayscale sees. So again, the Clarity Act could release the Kraken, so to speak, and we could see a big, amount of liquidity coming back into the market. So again, we always talk about this. Trying to diversify, trying to find opportunities. We can go short-term, mid-term, long-term. That's all about balance. It's all about diversification, okay? Now, Plan B is telling us that Bitcoin will likely bottom below the realized price of 53,000, just like it did in every previous market. Right now, the gray realized price line has been glued to the black 200-week geometric MA since 2023. What do you think? New low incoming or different this time? Now, if you go and you will say, we talked about this before, people will say, well, the 4-year cycle and this and that tell us this and that. But this 4-year cycle hasn't been like other 4-year cycles. This 4-year cycle hasn't had the red dots, right? So why should it behave like this? Why should it actually drop to 53,000? Well, when it's a lot easier to get to the bottom than it is to the top. What do I mean by that? To get to the top, to get to the red dots, you have to have liquidity, you have to have buying pressure. And in these two instances, interest rates were very low. A lot of money was flowing in. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of FOMO. When we got to this point here, it never happened, okay? But to get to the blue dots, all you got to have is sell it, fear, right? You don't need a lot of liquidity. That's a lot easier. So the blue dots are a lot easier than the red dots to happen. So that's why there's higher probability that actually the bottom plays out the way it should, whereas the top did not play out the way we expected. But again, this 4-year cycle is different. Maybe it's this way, maybe it's that way. Benjamin gives us this graph. It's kind of hard to see, but it's basically showing the returns on the 2017 Donald Trump presidency and the presidency now. Now, it started out amazing, but since then has not been great. And what's the difference between the two? I'm going to give you a second to answer. If you've been watching the channel, you know the answer. I'll whisper it into the microphone very sexily. Interest rates. Right? The difference is that in 2017, interest rates were very low, around 1%, and now they're close to 4%, and the markets are even pricing in a possibility that we see it go even higher, back to 4% and even over 4%. So when you have a situation like that and you have that kind of, I would say money is expensive right now, then there's lower probability that you see the red dots, but the blue dots more likely, right? But history has told us that whenever those blue dots come, that's the opportunity, and whoever buys the blue dots usually is very, very successful. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen this time, but that's what history tells us, and that's the only thing that we can work on, right? We can say, okay, I'm looking at what's happening right now. I'm looking at the global crypto market. I'm looking at how all these rules are coming in. I'm looking at all these companies that are integrating crypto. I'm looking at all the great things, all the things that we never had in 2017, that we never had in 2021. And yes, the markets are maybe a little bit more expensive, but they're not a lot more expensive than they were in 2020 and 2021. And I look at all the good that could potentially happen. And so I'm still very bullish long term. Again, short term, anything can happen. And we see here from X Finance Bull, he says the XRP ecosystem is going global, Europe and Japan in a matter of days. We got that MICA license in Luxembourg, right, for Ripple. And then they have the deal in Japan. So Ripple is continuing to expand its business, continuing to help the ecosystem of XRP continue to grow it. And yes, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's always bumps in the road. Every single investor will always experience, good things and bad things in their investing journey. This is just part of the game. And so this is part of being an investor. I don't know why that went like that. And so I am still very, very bullish on the crypto market long term. But as always, things can change, things can happen, things can go up, things can go down. And so you always have to take that into consideration. Of course, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Check out the links in the description down below to the affiliates that we talked about in this video, Ubit, BTCC, and Foris X. If you are interested, again, it will be in the pinned comment and in the link in the description down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.